I had some meetings with some of my coaching students this week, and a lot of them are hiring, right? And we talk about seats, and we talk about making sure we get the right person in the right seat. And there have been several of these interviews that have morphed into something else because they really weren't happy in their current seat. But they were a great core values match, and they were excellent workers, and I mean, just no problems. They really didn't like the seat, and in some cases they were even performing really well, but they were kind of living in hell. And we were able to make some changes that allowed them to enjoy their job, which is a big deal for us, right? I've been reading a book. It talks about this passion thing that, especially the younger generation, has this thing where they gotta like fall into, it's like they're walking down the street and there's a fountain next to them, and if they don't fall into the passion fountain, their life is just over. Like if they don't get to swim around in their passion, fountain, like life ends. There's some magical, mystical job out there, or they can open up a business that's just, it's just what they love to do. And man, that's such crap.
I agree.
It's such crap. But what if you can move a little closer to what that is, and that it's easy, especially for the company, to be able to make that happen? Man, that's cool. Not necessarily to your passion, but at least so that you can enjoy what you do. That way, when you get off work, you go pursue your passion, right?
Yeah.
There's very few people who get to actually do, quote, their passion. There's very few people who get to do that. And if I'm guessing, they didn't just fall into the passion, pool either, right? They had a long, hard slog. I'm just envisioning one of those people in the fail videos where they're walking along and they just like, I don't know, their heel, the high heel goes under, and then they right into the passion pool. Like, oh my gosh, I made it.
This just happened. This is amazing.
Such crap.
Well, and think about the possibility of moving someone into a different seat in your company and having that person still on staff. Like, I don't know how many times we've moved seats, but we've kept the people. So if someone in their new position is stuck, they're like, hey, can you help me out? I know you sat in this seat 2 months ago, and they're still on the team. So it allows you, oh my goodness, the training and being able to have support long-term is powerful. We just haven't had the lost people.
We've talked about this before, and I talked to some other, I talked to my coaching people, and then I'm in masterminds, and people have a really hard time hiring and retaining people. And we've talked kind of ad nauseum about why that is.
Yeah.
But this is a big deal, right? If you actually get someone in the door, they're a core values match, and they're a team player, and they're a hard worker. Why would you ever want to lose them?
Yep.
Just because. And most of the time we heard this week, Heather, like, I want to grow into this over here. Okay, well, let's make a path for you to be able to do that then. We can't just like flip a switch and, shake up the entire company. I guess we have done that in the past, but that's not typically, something that you can just do.
Yeah.
But we can make a plan for you to go over here. Now, if you're a closed-minded business owner or leader in the business, and you just tell people, well, no, you're really good here, we need to keep you here, they'll leave. They'll leave because everyone wants to grow. Everyone wants to become more. Everyone wants to grow. Not everyone wants to do a ton more, right? And I don't want that to mean like we're working more hours or whatever, but do and become more in an internal sense, right? And I don't know very many people who don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's true. And we're in a job market right now where they can leave.
Oh, yeah.
My a family member of mine, of my husband's, just decided she didn't really love what she was doing and wanted to move positions to a different path. And she applied to 6 different places and got interviews with all 6, offers from several. I mean, it is the job market right now. You can lose people if you're not really in tune with if they're growing, if they're learning, if they're happy where they're sitting. And
how many people, Heather, have we interviewed that were willing to take a pay cut in a marketplace where they could get a pay increase to go somewhere that they actually enjoy and doing something that they actually enjoy?
True.
In a competitive world that we're living in right now, where there are literally thousands and thousands of jobs more than there are human beings to do them. Well, and we're not going to go down that road as to why that is, but thank you, government. Love you. Love you. In this current situation, you have got to be more involved with your people. And these interviews are one more way to make that happen. And that's not so complicated. You heard the questions that Heather was just talking about. They're not that complicated, but they are real questions about concerns that anyone really would have, and the people on your team certainly would have, right? How are you doing?
Yep.
And make sure you listen for the things that are actually going on in their life too. For instance, Heather, this is we've talked about hiring stay-at-home moms. One of the downsides of hiring stay-at-home moms is that women, not men that want to be women, but women can get pregnant.
Yeah.
And routinely do.
Routinely.
So in the situation, like the whole "how you doing" question right after there is a brand new baby is a really important question. It just is. Or when people are having health concerns. I mean, we learned about that this week too, Heather. At least I did. You probably already knew.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know.
That, people are struggling with certain things. And if you never ask the question because nobody thinks you give a rip about them, you're not going to know what's happening behind the scenes. And I don't care who you are. You got health problems, new babies, big stressors in your life. They impact how things go on the job. They just do, right? So this is one of those ways where you can open up the doors and you can say, hey, listen, we want to know, how's everything going in your life? How are things going here? How are those things intersecting? And how can we help you? Most importantly, how can we help you?
Yes.
Just crazy important. And then don't get done with the meeting. This is the other thing I think that you were talking about earlier, Heather, is that you keeping all of these notes, you can go back and look at all of the things that we were supposed to implement to make people's lives easier. And it's amazing how many of those things we implemented. The only reason we did is because we asked.
Exactly. I have takeaways from the ones we just finished this week. I highlight them in a color so I can easily go back through and look at action items. But I looked at last quarters and I implemented 100% of the things they needed help with. And I was able to ask them, hey, how did we do with that? Like, I implemented that. Did that solve your problem? Right? Because I had my last quarter notes. And I was going to add a couple more things that I asked specifically to our sales team. I asked them more about their process. Are you following our process that we have lined out for you? Are you comfortable with the amount of leads you're taking? Are you overloaded? Right? Because that matters in, do I hire more people? How is our setter performing, setting appointments for our sales team? And so it helps with interdepartment relations, I guess, to understand how is everything flowing that way. And so keeping those lines of communication open, holy cow, I came out of it going, yep, I got to get on hiring a couple more people because our sales team is feeling a little bit overloaded with the amount of people they're working with.
They're struggling, and it's that's a great problem to have when you have too many leads, but it's not when they're all trying to actually take the appointments, because then they don't have the time to actually spend with the folks they're trying to help, which does a disservice not only to them, but also to the people who we're trying to help.